Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Good evening and welcome to Plank of the Week. I'm Mike Graham. This, of course, is the home of common sense. It's the one place where you will hear absolute plankery from now until the end of this hour, because it is the one place where we judge absolutely everybody that's been a plank, and there's been an awful lot of them. Let me introduce you to the fantastic panel that we have. Jeremy Carl, Russell Quirk returns. Amanda Devlin is here, lovely to see you. And Mark Wogan, who's reading the paper, and he's come this week dressed as Johnny No Cash. Thank you very much indeed. Anyway, Jeremy Carl, over to you. The Prime Minister.
If the most pathetic example of a Prime Minister that we ever had does not win this week, I'm going to quit, which means he probably won't win. We happen to be, I'm going to say, lucky enough to be on air as the Donald, who, you know, whatever you think about him, seemingly has just created a legacy of his own making in Sharm el-Sheikh. I mean, the big day, the announcement of the ceasefire, the hostages, very emotive day for the Jewish community. And there is Donald on stage thanking everybody that's been involved.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind that Starmer, the idiot, had sort of recognised Palestine. And frankly, it was said to us by many people that he was probably not actually very helpful in getting this agreement over the line.
Quite the opposite, in fact.
I've got to do this. You get the camera. Stands behind Starmer like that, right? No, behind Trump, right at the back, but right in view. And Donald Trump cut him a second backside. I don't know if you've seen the video. We've got the video.
We have got it.
Because I was doing the commentary, he basically thanked everybody. I mean, Indonesia, Iraq. I said on commentary, one he's going to thank my wife before he...
Yeah.
And then this numpty, he goes, and Donald Trump knows exactly where he is. He goes, where's the United Kingdom?
UK?
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm here.
Yeah.
And he walks
Puts his
forward
hand
and he
up.
stands next to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump goes, very nice, and carries on speaking. And he goes,
turns his back on him.
and he does this time and just goes over like that. I have to say, I don't agree with anything he does domestically, but he looked the biggest git and idiot on the... We are humiliated now.
But Trump,
internationally,
Trump did it on purpose.
Of course he did. Well, I'll tell you what.
Completely engineered.
Just
Let's
extraordinary,
just
man.
watch it, because you can't watch this enough times, to be honest.
Where's the United Kingdom? Where's Russia? Where?
He's behind you.
Come on.
Here he comes.
Come on.
He thinks, I'm going to say something now. It's going to be great.
Yep. Got it already.
These people all came and
Now, bugger
Now,
off. See ya.
look at it. And it's the way he just turns slowly around like a child who's been turned away from the sweet shop.
It was like the
sorry,
kid. It
there's
was
no
like
room
the
at inn.
only kid in the school that didn't even win a book token at prize giving. And when it was finished, he looked like somebody had put a lemon in his mouth. But the best bit of all is that beautiful lady Georgie Maloney.
Yeah.
She tried not to laugh because she was about to wet herself.
She was about to lose it.
Total plankery on the international stage. The worst, honestly, the worst Prime Minister we ever had.
I think because Trump rather likes Georgia Maloney, he said she was a beautiful young woman.
You're allowed to say that?
Oh yeah, and I bet you he told her that he was going to do that. I think that's why she was laughing.
Do you reckon?
I think she knew.
I liked
he
it
was
when he
gonna
said,
do it.
in politics, if you say a woman's beautiful, that could be the end of your career. I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just brilliant.
I know. He is.
Wouldn't
But
it
the
be
thing is-
wonderful if
but
he did say to Georgia Maloney in advance, watch this?
I bet he did. No, I think he did, because the thing about Trump...
Donald is capable of it.
He is capable of that, because he's not just the president. He's not just the most powerful man in the world. He's a film director.
Yeah.
You know, if you watched on that day, the hostages got released around just about 6:30 in the morning on when I was on doing breakfast.
Yeah.
And just as the hostages were getting to be reunited with their family, what did you see? Air Force One coming into land at Ben Gurion Airport, and Donald Trump getting off and going to meet Benjamin Netanyahu, and it was just picture perfect. It couldn't have been made better by Steven Spielberg.
People don't like about the guy, that was on Biden's desk for 4 years. What he's done,
I don't care what people don't like about him, because you know what? The people who don't like him have been exposed as completely and utterly sort of desolate of any kind of feeling. Because if you can't rejoice on a day like that, and even Hillary Clinton said he'd done a good thing. I know, incredible. Now, don't forget, it wasn't just then, of course, that Donald Trump snubbed him. He snubbed him again a bit later on. This is where Keir Starmer's hanging around, like he's talking to Mark Carney, I think, from Canada. Look at him. He's hanging about, going, any chance of a chat? And Donald just walks away.
Well, he just wants the photo opportunity, doesn't he?
He just literally is being blanked at every point. It's like a guy waiting for an autograph outside a stage door, isn't it?
He's what's known in common parlance as a scrape.
What?
A scrape.
A scrape.
He's always trying to scrape in.
Yeah. Anyway, Russell Quirk, over to you. Police Scotland.
Police Scotland, who are now thoroughly investigating the following. Can I just start this with a statement which is I was born and bred in Essex. Now,
Yes.
I will probably be arrested.
tell.
Not many people would admit to that.
Well, I will. I'm quite
Strong
proud
in
of it.
the arm
I'm
and thick
very,
in the head. There we
very,
go.
very
Born
proud of
and
it.
bred.
Should we do some Essex jokes? No, that's not.
No.
Anyway, this is Police Scotland who decided, further to Claire Mackey-Brown, who is a councillor being interviewed, and in that interview saying that she was born and bred here in the context of talking about immigration and migrant hotels, immediately have launched an investigation into her on the basis of it being a hate crime.
Yes.
I kid you not.
I know.
Saying that I am born and bred here is now an official
I mean, she is in
hate
Falkirk,
crime.
to be fair, which is not the greatest town in Scotland.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I looked, because actually some of us do research for shows like
Really?
this.
It never
watching our
shows.
games.
It never
and
shows.
in the last
does it?
12 months, there have been 13,000 non-crime hate incidents investigated by the police across
Why would
Britain.
they investigate that?
13.
Why would they investigate
and
that?
every week, right, we get told somebody's instructed them not to do it anymore, and yet they keep doing it.
Yeah. So there's non-crime hate incidents, but which by definition are not crimes, right? So no
Yeah.
other police are getting involved at all. But this apparently is being investigated as an actual hate
Yeah.
crime. You know, like racism,
Yeah.
like incitement to racial
Yeah.
violence, and so on.
Sorry, can I just ask you a question? So if a woman says, or a person, I was born and bred here, that could upset immigrants, but
Yes.
they can come onto the beach in Bournemouth where I live and sexually assault a girl who's 17 and ruin
get
her
a 12
life
months suspended sentence.
and get told that's because of your poor upbringing and they still live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This country is on
that's
its
fine.
arse.
Absolutely
It's ridiculous.
right. Check this out. This is the woman in question, Claire Mackey-Brown on STV.
Everything I do is for the best of the communities that I serve, and I think, you know, I've been overwhelmed with the contacts I've had from people within Falkirk. And, you know, there is a true unrest, and it's scary. It's scary as a local resident, somebody who's born and bred here. I shouldn't have said that.
Why not? Why did she say that? I shouldn't have
Do
said
you
that.
see why this is?
Yeah.
People sometimes think that
Yeah.
reform are very much
Yeah.
against having people
That just
here.
came out. It just came out.
That's unfortunate for you, I guess. But
Yeah.
ultimately, do you see why people who aren't from here, who have maybe made their home here, are annoyed when they hear an elected official say that people are born and bred here?
So I think, Claire Mackey-Brown is verging on being my
She
flank
is
now,
actually.
on
Well,
the
also-
basis that she says, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." What the hell is wrong with that?
Exactly right. There's nothing wrong with it. And also the journalist in question, who's from Northern Ireland, by the way, also not born and
allowed
bred
to
in
say that.
Falkirk, should also be hanging her head in shame, you know, because this is a problem for you.
Agreeing that it's the inappropriate thing
It's
to
a
say.
terrible thing that you've
This
done.
goes further, though, so we're not allowed to be proud of the fact that we were born and bred here. We're not allowed to raise our flag. We're not allowed to say anything in case that upsets people who patently shouldn't be here but are given a better standard of living than those who are. I don't
know.
get it at all.
It is bizarre, isn't it? And of course, it started a whole social media sort of avalanche, if you like, of people just tweeting out, "I was born and bred in wherever," just
Well, and
because
let's
people
see
are
what
like,
the
we're not
outcome
taking
is
it
now.
anymore because people in this country now have had enough,
Yeah, they
and
have.
they're not taking any of that crap.
But the police obviously should say, "Don't be ridiculous." There's been a complaint, obviously, which is
Yeah.
why the police are
Yeah, but
investigating
who's
this.
complaining about that?
Probably the journalists to get a bigger story.
Yeah, someone from the BBC.
You know what I mean?
probably, or-
Journalists.
I know.
What are they like?
know.
Honestly?
Difficult.
You're a bloody good journalist, not like that. She's seen that as an opportunity, that girl.
Well, let's see what the
Straight
police
away.
do. Let's see if they drop it immediately.
I think
or not.
they've indicated that they're unlikely to proceed. But the fact, as you say, that they've even bothered to look into it makes them planks.
Could I just ask, the house that you're selling, were you born and bred in that?
I was
Careful what you
definitely
say.
bred in it.
Careful.
Oh, I'm not buying it now. Oh, dear. Oh, God.
That's a
it.
very
My offer's
good answer.
withdrawn. I'm withdrawing.
And conceived, I think is what he's trying to say.
I can't
If
buy a
only
house.
you had on many an occasion, life might have been easier for you.
Fantastic. I love it. And listen, wait, because we got more from the Green councillors. This is a guy called Robert Lindsay, not Citizen Smith. Yeah, UBK show. This is him going to put leaflets around for the Green Party, right? But when he puts his leaflet into the box there, he sees that there's a leaflet for reform, and he takes it out so that nobody can see it.
That's naughty.
Now, that's not just naughty. I think that could be technically some kind of
tampering with the
interfering
King's
with
postal theft,
the
isn't
mail. Yes.
Isn't that a hate crime?
I think it's certainly a crime. I don't think it may not be a hate crime.
Where
but
was he born and bred?
I don't know.
Can I add another one as a little addendum
Go on.
that's happened in Essex in the last 2 or 3 days?
Yes.
This is Councillor Gavin Callaghan, who is the illustrious Labour leader of Basildon Council, has issued a letter to a local head mistress on the basis that
Oh, yes, I've heard about this.
Some reform councillors have gone along and tried to help some kind of, school traffic issues outside Wickford Primary School in Essex. And the leader of Basildon Council, Gavin Callaghan, has taken exception to this and so has written to the headmistress of that school saying, basically, I'm paraphrasing slightly here, but this is the gist. Can you please assure me that the parents of ethnic minority children have been protected from these reform councillors?
For God's
Can
sake.
you believe how disgraceful and disgusting that missive is from Gavin Callaghan at Basildon Council? He's basically said that anyone that is a reform councillor, me by the way, members and voters are all racists. That's what he's basically just said. What a disgraceful individual.
That is incredibly stupid,
I
isn't it?
I go with Mike entirely on this. We can sit and we can get angry, and the newspapers that are supported can write their pieces. They really shouldn't underestimate the people in this country, the silent majority. I don't care what anybody says on the left in any of those other newspapers. The people are on the move in this country. Something is happening, and it ain't going to go away with people like that.
Well, absolutely right. Well, we saw there was a new poll out this week about reform, which said that they would literally sweep everybody to the side and win something like 445 seats.
Yep.
And the Tories would get 7, and the Labour Party would end up with 72 or something. Unbelievable. The Magnificent 7, not so much. Amanda Devlin, over to you with the Home Office.
I'm going to let this as a bit of a show and tell. So
Oh, yes.
The front page of The Sun here.
Ah, yes.
Everyone.
The Sun, do you have any association with that?
A little bit, yeah.
Just check.
It is a
So,
great headline.
this
Isn't it? What a
is-
waste of Monet.
Yeah, oh, it's great. Obviously,
Brilliant.
always known for the headlines. And also, we're also known for winding you up, because this is a story that will make you angry, but also just grind your gears and get you going, which is what I think everyone is rallying behind, this bit of movement at the moment, where we're all just fed up. And this is about a £260 million contract that the Home Office has secured. It's an 8-year one with Serco. And it's to give illegal immigrants, while they're waiting to be deported, access to arts and craft lessons.
Arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Why?
Arson.
Arts and crafts.
And crafts.
It's something that it's a sort of a
Arts
family
and
joke in the
crafts.
Graham household, because when one of my children used to go to arts and crafts classes, he used to call them arts and crafts because he couldn't quite pronounce them properly.
Could
So
you have
we've
mentioned
always
this
called
before
it-
I said it?
I think Jeremy's about to explode.
Sorry. Anyway,
Do you not enjoy
So-
painting? Is that what it is, Jeremy? I would have thought you'd find it quite
It's like-
therapeutic,
no.
because you're so angry. A bit of painting would relax you.
No, it's like Keir Starmer. He doesn't like portraits, doesn't like them in the house, doesn't like them staring at him. By the way, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry about this, but I've got to bring this up, because when we were talking about Keir Starmer, I meant to say that this morning when on my show, I managed to find out what's actually wrong with Keir
this is
Starmer.
brilliant. Genius.
Right? He's suffering from a condition which is known as mythomania. I don't know if you've ever heard of mythomania, but this is what it is. Psychological condition characterised by a compulsive and habitual tendency to lie, often with no clear benefit or motive.
Oh,
So-
the weird thing
yeah.
is, I diagnosed it as bellanditis.
Oh yes, it's very similar to that. Very similar to that. Characteristics of mythomania include compulsive lying,
Yes.
a persistent and uncontrollable urge to lie,
Yes.
going beyond occasional fibbing or social lies,
Yeah.
like saying we played a major role in the freeing of the hostages.
You
right?
did, but not the one you think.
Yeah. Elaborate stories. Lying often involves creating intricate and dramatic, sometimes unbelievable tales about one's past. Like, for example, my father was a toolmaker.
I think it's similar to Pinocchio syndrome, isn't it? Which
Very
is also
similar.
very well known.
Finally, lack of a clear motive. Lies are frequently told without an apparent gain, such as avoiding punishment or achieving a specific goal. So he lies about things so that he can throw people off the scent of another story.
I rang Mike this morning because I stayed at the in-laws last night. And my mother-in-law, bless her, 70-something. She's into Mike big time. And I came downstairs this morning, and there he was. She does her iron into him, and she said, "He's got it right, you know." What? Mike's diagnosed that Starmer. He's got
it's official.
She wrote it as mycomania. he's got into that idiot's head, he has, Mike, because what he says is true. He's got mycomania.
Yeah.
True story.
Final category of mythomania is difficulty distinguishing lies, right? Which is individuals may struggle to distinguish between truth and falsehood. Like, do you remember when he said that Jeremy Corbyn was never his friend?
Yes.
And then you played him the clip where he went, "He's my friend." And you go, well, which one of them
Council
is it really?
tax won't rise. I'm afraid we're going to have to raise
sorry.
council tax.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted Amanda there.
And I feel like this is going to be a real contender to win today, and you're all just trying to make me run out of time talking about it.
We're ganging up on you.
I think this is a brilliant one, honestly, because the other perks that these illegal immigrants get are a welfare buddy. Which just sounds lovely, doesn't it? Welfare buddy, to help them adjust emotionally.
That could be annoying, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Sorry,
Depends who you got. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Keir Starmer just standing next to you.
Somebody who tells them how they can get money from, every benefit, every bit of welfare.
They don't
that
need
shows
to.
them
They
what.
get it
There's
anyway.
loads of charities that do that.
Because they also give them £5 a week in personal spending money. They can earn money as a detainee, cleaning up, serving food, managing the gym, which they have free access to. I mean, honestly, I think you read it and you think there is absolutely no way.
They also
that this
get a
is
free
happening.
phone call home, right? And
Yes.
apparently this is the home that they've fled because it's so dangerous, but they apparently can ring people there who can pick up the phone without being tortured.
Isn't there a councillor that does swimming
You know,
lessons as
amazing.
well? Swimming lessons, which is kind of ironic, given that they come here on a boat. Should they have the swimming lessons before they cross the channel?
Anyway, Mark, over to you. You've got the RMT union.
Well, you know, Mr. Kyle has talked about there is movement in the nation. The nation is moving somewhere.
Yes.
Not if the RMT has anything to do with it.
Clever.
Because they want to reduce the working week. 32 hours, right? But they also want a pay rise, right? And they want more holiday as well.
Yeah.
So
They
we've
want to
talked,
work a full
no,
day
but hold
week,
on.
don't they?
We've talked about this before, Mike. I think we are missing a trick. All of us are missing a trick here, right? Because what are you hiding down there?
Only do a 3-day week. So just
Yeah, but you're not like normal people, are you? I mean, a mixture of that and the medication explains everything. But we've been saying this for a long time, Mike, on Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah.
There's 2 areas we should have gone into. We're wasting our time in the media. We should have been renting out temporary traffic lights.
Yeah.
Right? Or we could probably do both, actually.
Yeah.
Because if I do 32 hours on the trains, and then I can rent temporary traffic lights out the rest of the time, I would be freighted.
You would absolutely be fine. Because just today, they announced that TfL, Transport for London, are going to offer £80,000 a year to tube train drivers in order to stop them from striking.
Oh, but hold on.
80,000 quid a year.
What about, though, the bus drivers?
Oh, yeah.
They've been ignored. They've been ignored by Sadiq Khan. Surprise.
Yeah, but they haven't been ignored by cockroaches.
No,
there's apparently cockroaches on all the buses.
London buses are infested with cockroaches. Do you know that? Oh, you've never been on a bus, have you? But
no.
Yeah, one crawled into a man's soft drink whilst he was.
Yeah, he said he drank out of it and it went into his mouth.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, bit of protein.
I mean, you shouldn't be drinking and driving,
Have you ever
surely.
tried to kill a cockroach?
Have
you tried to kill a cockroach?
I used to do it in New York regularly.
Did you?
Yeah.
What with a saucepan?
Well, no, you kick them against the skirting board and you stun them and then you stamp on them.
Okay.
Could you do the stunned cockroach face again? Is it
Because they're mostly German cockroaches in New
Are
York.
they?
That's what they're called.
Jürgen.
They're brown. Yeah, Jürgen. I used to call them that. And that gives you an even more impetus to give them a
there,
kick
Jürgen.
over there.
Yeah, God,
Because they move too
Habits.
quickly. You can't stamp on them while they're running. They're too quick. But if you kick them across the,
But I mean, even the general, what's her name, Sharon, the General Secretary of Unite.
Oh, yeah, Sharon Graham.
She said, it's an exceptional deal. No shizzle.
What,
For the drivers.
Cockroaches?
No, not for the cockroaches.
No.
The 20% pay rise so that they
20%
don't
pay rise
strike again.
and free cockroaches all round.
can get
Have a look at this,
cockroach
right?
with
This is
every drink.
Transport for London in the 1970s.
Hey?
Oh, darling.
Cool, I remember this.
On the buses.
I'll pay you to get on.
I hate you, butler.
I hate you, Butler.
I hate you, butler.
I wish
I
they
never
were that
liked
friendly
him.
now.
I always thought there was something sinister about him. Pervert. No? Yeah, they were all on the take, even from the early days.
Amazing. That's what television used to be like in the 70s. I didn't even know it was in colour, to be honest, because we only had a black and white TV when I was a kid. Anyway, coming up, Bridget Phillipson, everybody's favourite member of the cabinet. Plus, we're going to be talking about vegan tampons, believe it or not. That's one for Jeremy. This is Plank of the Week. We're back
Never
after
leaves
this.
home without one.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. It's my turn to give my first nomination, and by, I think, quite a long chalk, despite all of the people in the cabinet of this great government in this country. Bridget Phillipson, I think, is probably the most odious one of the lot. I mean, she's, at least Angela Rayner, you could occasionally have a laugh about. You know, Rachel Reeves we can make fun of. Bridget Phillipson's like one of those teachers in school, isn't she, who just has a go at parents all the time. You know, you should have made them wear better clothes, or you should have got them better shoes.
Or whatever her name was,
Yeah,
Matilda.
yeah. She kind of looks mean and just not very nice. Anyway, she was wheeled out at the weekend to talk about you know, whatever was going on.
Like Davros, that Dalek.
Here comes Bridget.
Disco roller skates.
Anyway,
wheeled
she
out.
was asked about, of course, you know, the peace project that was Donald Trump's baby, and she said that, of course, we played a massively key role in getting the hostages released.
Of course you did.
We have played a key role behind the scenes in shaping this. It's right that we do so because it's in all of our interest, including our own national interest, that we move to a lasting peace in the region.
Well, when you say behind the scenes, like what? I mean, it seems to everybody else in the world that this has been done by Trump and the Israelis and Hamas. What part did we play?
These are complex matters of diplomacy that we are involved in, but we do welcome and recognise the critical role that the American government played in moving us to this point.
But the Israelis were furious with us. The Americans said that we actually hampered the deal. What was the positive role that we played?
Yeah, but they didn't do anything, though.
No.
I mean, you know, and
Critical was critical.
And she later acknowledged the critical role that America played in the peace process. Well, they created it. They didn't play a critical role.
Have you seen all the social media memes, by the way, which is Keir Starmer picking up the glasses after
Yeah, right.
the event?
Yeah. That's
walking in with
ridiculous.
plates and cutlery.
Of course, very shortly thereafter, it turns out that Mike Huckabee, who was Trump's ambassador to Israel, said that she was delusional, which is pretty strong language. There's a tweet. He said she can thank President Donald Trump anytime she likes. Have a look at this. This is Israel's Deputy Foreign Minister, Sharon Haskell, telling us what actually happened.
Those actions that were taken by the government of the UK have actually pushed Hamas to embolden their position and to refuse a ceasefire already 2 months ago.
In the end, it wasn't so much that the role that we played was in any way good. In fact, it was bad.
And I think that's exactly why, because I think you were right, Marky. I think Trump stored that about Macron and Starmer and the coalition of the willing and recognising Palestine, and then decided to humiliate the rubbish out of them on Monday.
He did also, because he'll also have watched and seen all of the various different times when Keir Starmer said he doesn't like Donald Trump, he doesn't want to have him around for dinner, you know, where David Lammy calls him.
And he's had the state visit now, so he doesn't need to be nice to him,
so he's just chucked him under the bus. Quite right.
As he should do.
As indeed he should.
As is deserved.
Jeremy Kyle, over to you, the National Trust.
My old man used to work for the National Trust, and God rest his soul. Yes, he did, in a part-time capacity when he retired. When he retired, he just used to I think he used to go and sit in the National Trust gardens and look at young girls. If I'm being completely honest,
to be paid for it.
Display it in the windscreen, please.
This is the man who I went to visit during lockdown, and I said, "Are you all right?" Bless him, his wife. And he said, "I'm fantastic." I said, "Why?" I said, "They can't get away from me. They're all locked in." Anyway, God rest his soul, he's dead. The National Trust has started dispensing. Now, you'll have to help me out with this, Amanda, and I don't mean this in a free vegan tampon. Now, I know what a tampon is. What is a vegan tampon? Does it mean you can't eat it? I mean, what does that mean? The charity started providing the sanitary products in the men's toilets at, I think it's Sizergh Castle in the Lake District. One 78-year-old visitor to the stately home said, "Entering the male-only designated toilet, I was confused. Pads and tampons were provided, and a male disposable bin. I went outside. I wanted to check if I'd used the wrong toilet, because I do mess up occasionally in terms of picking, not my pants. I was confused, and it led to a great deal of discussion with my wife and friends, and I said to them, why are there pads and vegan tampons in the men's? Sorry, first of all, what is a vegan tampon? What does that mean?
I've absolutely no idea.
Right.
Secondly, presumably no animals were harmed in the production of it.
Or it wasn't tested on animals.
What?
It's not offensive
I don't know.
to animals or...
I'm trying to think of the difference between an ordinary sausage roll and a vegan sausage roll, but it's not helping me with the ordinary tampon.
Does it just mean it's got no meat in it?
Hold on, Johnny No Cash has got the answer.
Over to you.
What is a vegan tampon?
Yeah. Is it going to play it back?
I'll get back to you.
All right.
We're not selling your house, bugger off.
Even Google doesn't know what a vegan tampon is, evidently.
Anyway,
But why is it in the men's toilet?
But this is like that bloody Mike Waltz who stood with Kamala Harris. He did that in Minnesota, didn't he, as the senator? He'd be putting female products in. I mean, it is utterly, utterly disgusting. Oh. What?
It's made without any animal-derived ingredients, it turns out.
Well, aren't all tampons made without any animal-derived ingredients?
Most conventional tampons can include animal-based components, such as adhesives or fragrances.
What, horse?
Anchovy.
Crikey.
Anchovy horse. Didn't even know that was a thing.
It is a serious note to this, though, is that there are people who believe that women can have penises and men can have periods.
Right.
And I feel like I'm in another galaxy.
Yeah.
It was a load
God, I
of
would
old rubbish.
love if men could have periods. Just watching them be in so much pain. They wouldn't be able to handle it. It'd be hilarious.
There'd be people throwing themselves off bridges. I mean, we just wouldn't. We can't take any pain.
No.
I was going to say I would love women to... No, you don't crave a penis, do you?
What? Not at the moment. No, we're doing a show.
It's a different...
I mean, you know, people say...
Maybe later.
I think that's a different show.
There's no romance with you, is there?
Just anchovy.
By the way,
Is that your child line? Is that your child line?
Did you see the sign on the side of the tampon machine? It said, if you're having a period situation going on.
I mean, as a woman,
period
do you have a period situation, or do you just
going on?
do you just have a period?
You know, it's like that thing on the police.
What means today I've got a situation with my period.
What is that?
Situation.
Period situation.
It's either a period or it's not, right?
Yeah. It's a 911 period situation. Do you know, I nearly went into the ladies' toilets at the Ritz this week. I was sort of shouting down to her, I said, is this the ladies' changing ladies' toilet? And she didn't answer me at first, so I just kind of kept walking. I assumed it was both down there. And I got to the bottom and she kind of went, oh! And I said, I'm sorry, it's just the ladies. She says, yeah, the gents is up there. And then I got upstairs.
Can I ask the obvious question? Was she shocked because by the time you'd got to the bottom of the stairs, you'd already got your bits out in preparation?
No,
No,
but it could have been horrendously embarrassing. It could have been bad news if I was,
He was almost caught short.
Desperate. Anyway, we've got this. This is a National Trust commercial. Have a look.
By decree of King Arthur himself, I demand a vegan tampon.
My lord, we've only got the non-vegan kind.
Made with goat's tallow. Blasphemy! I shan't fight upon such cruelty.
A jewel of English heritage.
Here at Sizerg, we meet every visitor's needs, even the unexpected ones. They've gone bloody mad.
Sizerg Castle, where history meets hysteria.
Brilliant. I don't know where Chuck finds this stuff.
That come from?
I've no idea.
Chuck made that. That's brilliant.
Very good. Very well done.
That wasn't Kevin O'Sullivan, was it?
I don't think so.
It's actually a video that he wasn't in.
Yeah, I know. Indeed. Russell Quirk, over to you. Jeevan Sandher MP.
Jeevan Sandher MP for Loughborough. Yeah, this is his comments on flags. Obviously, over the last few weeks, we've seen the country become resplendent, I think it's fair to say, in terms of Union flags, St George's crosses across the nation, you know, motorway gantries, lampposts and so on. He has made an official statement, which is that they should all come down, and he's quite offended by them, it seems. He's using the excuse that they're a safety hazard, because they might fall down and hurt someone.
They're doing this a lot now, the left.
Yeah.
They're starting to talk about safeguarding.
A flag weighs about, 500 grams? And I don't think anyone's ever been injured or killed by a flag falling on them in history.
Can you do it in imperial measurements, please, for those of us who like the British flag?
£2.
Thank you.
A pound. Anyway, so he's kind of fibbing, really, and saying that this is the reasoning is that he thinks that these things are dangerous. But
Labour MP for telling lies?
Yeah. But he's also said that...
Mythomania.
But he's also said the following. He said... in separate correspondence that I found, he said that these flags are unwelcoming, uncomfortable insofar as the community that they are in, and I quote, making people feel uneasy. Now, this sounds a bit to me like Essex County Council. I'm trying to go back to the Essex thing, but Essex County Council recently issued a directive to their employees that said, if you are offended or have anxiety and feel uncomfortable by all the flags that are across gantries, fences and bridges across Essex motorways, that you can come to us with your anxiety and we will try and placate your anxiousness.
Oh dear.
What is it with these people?
What's wrong with them?
These lefty, moronic, woke
I don't understand
muppets that think that our flag is offensive.
I don't understand how we've got to a point where it's wrong. And like you, I love the fact that wherever you drive, the in-laws stay, the whole roads...
Makes you feel good, right?
I honestly... to the point where I'm supposed to be embarrassed by my country's flag.
I know.
It's outrageous.
It's nonsense, isn't it? But you're not supposed to be embarrassed by any other flag.
No.
But if you do suffer from vexophobia, which is a fear of flags, this could be very triggering.
Yeah, but of course they're not frightened of other flags.
Look it up, vexophobia.
But they're not frightened of LGBT flags.
What's the name of being... What's the name of scared of somebody's dress sense? What's that?
No cashophobia.
No cashophobia.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, listen, we've got a clip for you. Here's Jeevan Sandher talking about vexophobia.
It's time to take down the lamppost flags. I'm here on Epinal Way. There are flags hanging from almost every single lamppost. And then I see flags painted on roundabouts. And that is just a bit weird. And you know, because you've seen it online and I see it in my inbox, that this does make people feel uneasy.
Who does it make feel uneasy? I would suggest if you feel uneasy about the national flag, don't live here.
Did you hear about the council this week? We did this on the show that blamed Storm Amy for the flag suddenly overnight coming down. They were all damaged by the storm.
Oh, of course they were, yeah.
People woke up. It's just extraordinary to me.
Here's our old mate Richard Bacon. He appeared on Newsnight this week. He lives, by the way, in Los Angeles, right? But here he is talking about how flying racist British flags. Have a look.
If you stick a pole and a Union Jack tomorrow outside your house, I think you're making a statement. And I think that statement is probably that you prefer Britain to be more white.
The context is being curated and invented by identity politicians. That's the problem.
But that's quite a thing to say. If you put a flag in your garden, you're saying you want Britain to be more white.
And there's Alex Phillips smoothly transitioning from Plank of the Week to Newsnight. It's always good to see her on there. What's going on with his head, by the way? He's turned into the Mekong. His head is like this long.
Certain celebrities, loads of them seemingly, jump on the bandwagon. They seem so unauthentic. They just want it to, I don't know, impress their followers or go with something. I don't believe he... Does he think that? Sod off back to Los Angeles then. I mean,
he's left the country. Doesn't even live here.
I don't buy most of these celebrities when they stay. Am I right or wrong there?
Absolutely, yeah. Because
I never feel that they're telling me what they're genuinely.
Especially when they're on the left, because it's more about them trying to look kind,
and get some more work.
Look lovely, be adored at the same time as that's the opposite way around. Because
it is actually possible to get work and be honest, isn't it?
And also, if he lives in the
But
if Richard Bacon now lives in the United States, as clearly he does, which is kind of hypocritical in itself, does he go on to American news shows and talk about the American flag, which sits in just about every yard and on every municipal building? I bet he doesn't.
Because he'd be sent home in a heartbeat by Trump, wouldn't he?
Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, coming up, we're going to talk about a bloke called Sid Siddiqui. If you know who that is, you're obviously watching too much television. And also, there's a prison coming into view as well. This is Plank of the Week.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. Quiet in the back there. I can't keep these people under control today for some reason. Amanda Devlin, over to you. Sid Siddiqui, do tell us who he is.
Sid Siddiqui, I can't believe that you don't know him.
Well, I don't watch this show.
He's a Gogglebox star. He's one of my favourites on there, on the Channel 4 show.
He's been on it since... on the right, isn't he?
That's him, yeah.
Because I just heard.
Told you, because you haven't watched the show.
No.
He's been on it as a regular since 2013 with his two sons.
That long?
And he's 80 years old, but he's still working part-time, 3 days a week for the NHS.
Do you know Mr. Same Age and only working 3 days a week?
And you work here 3 days a week, working as a train driver for the remaining 4.
So he works as a health service environmental manager at Derbyshire Community Health Services NHS Trust in a NHS-funded job. So we're paying for it as taxpayers. And he's been off really sadly, and obviously we wish him well, but he's been off for stress recently.
He hasn't been off the telly.
At the same time as being on the telly.
Why did you feel you have to say we wish him well? Because he's basically been moonlighting.
No, but I do wish him well. And obviously we don't know what's gone on with him in his private life. No. What just feels uncomfortable is the fact that, he's still being paid.
Well,
he's
off
sick.
Right,
we're paying him and we're seeing him on TV.
You're either off or you're not.
Yes, and that's what I think the majority of people have felt.
Well, bizarrely, because we carried this story a bit earlier in the week, and it turns out that he's been given permission by the NHS, which is why the NHS doesn't work, by the way. He's been given permission to take time off because they say when he's on Gogglebox, he's not interfering with his normal working hours. And also, apparently it's good for his mental health.
He is only watching TV.
True.
Which, if he was off work, that's what he'd be doing anyway.
Yeah, but the gut cruncher is he's actually we're paying for him to be off work mentally ill. We're paying for him to be off work, and then he's making extra money watching television, and that just takes the PISS out of everybody's going to work every day, isn't it?
No,
you're off work, you're off work.
Yeah, no, I completely get your point. I think you're having 2 days of filming a week where you've got the film crew there.
What about the other 2? Do they work or?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but they're there. But this is part. He
doesn't look as if he's under stress. I know people will say, "Well, you can't
do Gogglebox, you and me."
I was thinking that.
How much do they pay?
Exceptional.
1,500 quid a week.
No, he only gets about $4,500 a year. I mean, it's not an amount of money.
It's
not
to watch the telly.
To do Gogglebox.
To do
no catches going.
You might get more as a celeb, I reckon.
Do you know what? An hour.
Mike just said, "Johnny, no cash going." Stop
I just thought he might get more.
Forever. Johnny, no cash.
I think Mark.
45p, I'll have that. Yeah, here we go.
Because
I think what it tells you actually though is that maybe he's not the plank, maybe it's the NHS that's the plank, because one of the reasons the NHS is actually on its knees is because they have more people off sick than any other organisation on the planet. So at any given time, they've got something like a third of their workforce off sick.
Yeah.
And some of them don't ever come back.
But not just off sick, but allowing them to go and do another job. I mean, what else?
Well,
Bus
even
driving,
if they're
train
not doing
driving,
another job though, but they're
in a shop.
allowed to be off long term on the sick. Which is in no other place could you do that.
Just make sure that they don't feel the need to be off sick because they're looked after, they're not stressed, they're being paid correctly.
In full,
all
no
of
matter
this.
how long they're off sick for.
But yeah, it's just this uncomfortable situation when you're watching and knowing that
Do you
going
watch
on.
Gogglebox?
I do. I love Gogglebox. I love watching people watch TV.
Would you like to be
Why
on it?
not? Oh, I think I'm gonna try and get on. Are we gonna get on together as a little
We're going to do
duo?
it from my parents' house.
Because it's not selling.
Is that where you were? So is that where you were bred?
Are you still paying for a TV licence for the address?
Oh, no, we're not. No.
Do you pay the electricity bill?
Yeah.
That'll be a Gogglebox for me, that's gone.
Anyway, over to you, Mr. Wogan, for HMP Downview.
Well, picture this scene. There you are, you're trying to get dinner ready, and you discover there's no tomatoes. Right? So you think, oh, what am I going to do? I know, I'll just pop down the shops. That's fine. Unless you're in a closed prison.
There it is.
But Banstead Prison, Downview, right?
Yeah.
They decided, we'll just take him down the shops, then get some tomatoes.
What, a prisoner?
Yeah.
OK, then.
Right? Now, they got shown up for doing this, but luckily what they came back with was, thankfully, no one escaped this time.
So they took him to the shop.
They took
Not
him
just
to the
went
shop.
to the shop for
Yeah, they
him.
took him to the shop.
Him to the shop.
They took him to the shop.
None of which answers the question, why is he being allowed to cook a meal of his choice? You should give him a plate of slop and locked in his cell.
Well, no,
what is
hold on.
wrong with
I mean, he
this
was
world?
I'm sorry,
was
tonight
one
we
of the
don't have any
cooks.
anchovies for
Yes,
you. We better go down the
no
shops.
gentleman's
to get
relish
some.
for you
No.
tonight, me old son.
But I like the fact that, thankfully, nobody escaped this time.
This time. Yeah.
That's what I enjoy
Apparently
about
the whole
the story.
prison went into lockdown when they discovered that this lag had been let out with a warder. Go down to the local shop.
Should we go down? Should we just go? We'll go down the corner shop.
Yeah.
Come on, we'll just
there
pop
a
out
corner-
from it.
is there-
Don't worry, I've got a key.
Sorry, is there a corner shop near your parents' residence that's up for sale?
No.
Because that
It's
might
far
have
too
helped.
rural for that.
You see, that
There's
might
only
have
fancy dress shops.
Now that might have helped. That might have helped the migrants. We're going to move in there next week to be
No,
able to.
because they can. Sorry to go back to my plank, but the migrants they can actually order what they want. So fresh food,
Yeah.
they
That
can
bloke
order.
right up
Buying what
food.
they're using
So they wouldn't
Wogan's
need-
house will be okay.
Yeah, so they
It'll be
wouldn't
fine.
need the corner shop
Can we
nearby.
write this in the
'cause it would
Sun
be brought
tomorrow?
to them.
Wogan refuses to house migrants in
And do they deliver the
unsellable
food to
property.
themselves via the delivery bikes that they're on anyway, illegally.
I want to go and sit on the sofa with the Siddiquis and get 1,500 quid. That's what I want to do.
You know,
Might
it's not
help
an hour.
pay for the house.
It's like
What?
Not an hour.
It's not an hour. just saying, it's not 1,500 quid an hour, Mark.
What?
No.
Sorry.
I
Take
love
the
you,
TV
Marky.
licence out of it.
Sorry
That's
about
brilliant. Coming up, we're nearly at the end of the show. I can't believe the time. Anyway, listen, we've got a special mention coming up for another member of the government. Plus, there's another bloke that is involved with the government who's going to be my final nomination, whose name is not spelt this way, but it's pronounced Pole. This is Plank of the Week.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. We are in the final last knockings, you might say, of the show, and I've got a special mention before I go anywhere. What are you laughing about? What's wrong with the last?
Hasn't even
knockings?
said anything
Say
yet.
that. Anyway, Darren, you know who Darren Jones is,
Who's
right?
me?
This is the guy.
Nice knockings.
Darren Jones. This is the guy who used to be the chief assistant to the Treasury, thereby the guy who used to advise Rachel Reeves when she did her last budget, which didn't go terribly well. The country's now basically going down the gurgler. I nearly said something else there for a minute. Anyway, he's now been promoted, because he was so useless in the Treasury, to be the chief assistant to the Prime Minister, right? Here he is making a video this week on behalf of Jürgen from GB Energy. Have a look.
Scotland.
Yeah, except it doesn't do anything doesn't employ anyone.
It's not an energy company.
Doesn't make any money, doesn't have any money.
It's not an energy company.
There's a whole show called Darren Explains.
Apparently so.
Does he ever explain why he's such a massive melt?
No, he doesn't. Or how can he explain how the hell he ever got into, the government?
Do you think he could explain why Mark's parents' house won't sell?
Darren explains.
Darren explains.
What's
Maybe
wrong with the property market?
Maybe you could just get him to answer a load of questions online. It'd be great. Darren explains.
Darren explains.
Can you explain?
Let's have a phone in about Mark's parents' house. I want you to get the money.
What?
Can you explain how you catch mythophobia, perhaps?
Is it myth or mytho?
Well, I presume it's myth based on the fact that a myth is a bit like a lie. You could call it mytho if you want to.
I'm
going to
call it myth. Obviously, I'm going to rip you off this afternoon.
Mythophobia, I think.
You've basically worked out Jeremy's show for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, talk about mythophobia.
Yes.
There's an awful lot of people that tell lies around the government, obviously. And there's one guy who's been at the centre of the sort of the big story of the last 2 weeks, apart from what's been going on in the Middle East, and that is, of course, China. The China crisis, because it turns out that the government more or less collapsed a trial which was due to take place of 2 British men who were spying on behalf of China inside the Palace of Westminster, inside of the House of Commons, inside the place where laws are made in this country. And basically, Jonathan Powell, as his name is apparently pronounced, even though he spells it Powell, there he is. He's the Chief National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister. He also used to work for Tony Blair, right? He also used to be the guy that sold off the Chagos Islands. He was the chief sort of protagonist of and the architect of all of that. He's the guy who should have been supplying information to the CPS so they could prosecute these 2 characters. But of course, he didn't. And he says, even Bridget Phillipson says, that he didn't have anything to do with the substance of the story, which means there's clearly something going on. A lot of people think he's going to be out of a job soon. But what he did was he decided to throw his deputy, who's a civil servant, under the bus, and he told him it was all down to him. I didn't have anything to do with it. So we're supposed to believe that this civil servant went to the Crown Prosecution Service and said, look, we can't tell China they're an enemy because that will screw up all of the money we owe them, and so we can't be doing that.
I think he should be looking over his shoulder, Jonathan Powell. I don't know. On Tuesday, Keir Starmer, in a rare moment of authority, said, I have total confidence in Jonathan Powell. Said that about Rayner on a Tuesday, gone bit Friday. Said that about Mandelson on a Tuesday, gone bit Friday.
The football manager
by the time this goes out, I think Jonathan Powell will, in fact, be history.
Well, to be honest, we've done this several times, haven't we? We've had Plank of the Week, and we said by Friday, this guy might not be in government anymore, and that may well be the case with this guy. But he's an insidious character. And this week, the Daily Telegraph put out a piece in which they said there's a shadowy group of people running this country, a cabal of which he was one, because he's all part of that sort of Tony Blair.
Oh, Blairite.
Well, he's also on the way out, right? He's apparently stopped taking meetings, though. He doesn't go to meetings anymore, so they think he's gone. But there are these shadowy figures around Keir Starmer, and what this piece said was that, the one person who isn't running the country is actually Keir Starmer, because he hasn't got any power, because he's in hops
and
all
I think
these
we
characters.
can tell.
But that picture of him, when they do the biopic, Michael Sheen.
Do you know what's really weird? When I saw that, I thought Michael Sheen, as he was playing Tony Blair, completely agree with you, Johnny Necker.
Does he not look like one of those guys from Genesis? The band. Doesn't he?
It doesn't look like Phil Collins.
Is it Mike and the Mechanics?
Yeah, Mike and the Mechanics. He's looking back over my shoulder.
He's looking back over his shoulder. See? It all works.
Very good.
It all works. Very good indeed.
I have an idea about raising money. You could go busking later in that shirt.
I can't. I've got to change. I've got to muck the horses out, and then we've got a rodeo later.
We won't be your first rodeo, though. No,
it's not my first.
I'm telling you.
No.
Can you show us the cuffs there? 'Cause I want to see how many. And look at how many buttons there are. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12
so it's
buttons.
Almost like
Have we really run out of that we're counting my buttons?
I think those cuffs are a bit dangerously Michael Jackson, aren't they? Aren't they a bit near to Michael Jackson?
Whoa. Anyway, listen, I've got to pick a winner, and I'm afraid I think there can only be one winner, and it has to be Mr. Mythophobia, doesn't it? The man who can't stand straight in bed or lie straight in bed.
No.
He can't tell the truth. He tells lies all the time.
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about Jeremy Kyle's nomination. You thought I was going to say something else there. Jeremy Kyle's nomination. It is, of course, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer.
Anchovy.
No.
It's not a... Oh, it's Keir.
Sir Keir Starmer, or as he's sometimes known, Sir Keith Starlin, or as he's otherwise known, the complete and utter mythophobia man. So, once again, it's Keir Starmer, who is, of course, the Prime Minister, but he's also Plank of the Week. Thank you very much indeed to Jeremy Kyle. Thank you to Russell Quirk. Thank you to Amanda Devlin. Thank you to Mark Wogan. Brilliant to see you. Off you go. Yeehaw! We'll see you next week for more plankery.
See you, Johnny.